Now, I want you to please put up a picture of Kechi before the accident and now. Now, Kechi, in a world where looks are so important, in a world where, the first thing that anybody sees about you is how you look. Now, sorry, it's a little bit squeezed there, okay? Okay. But this is what you looked like before that plane crash. And this is where you are today. Do you miss this person? Tell us about that.
This is something that I really would have thought I would dwell a lot more on, just the physical changes that I went through because of the accident. But I remember the first time I saw my reflection after, it was my mom. I remember I told her I wanted to see how I looked. This was like a few months after I'd been in South Africa. And I remember she was super nervous because she just knew, I was very vain, as a teenager. And I loved looking good. I loved how I liked how I looked. And I was very aware that I was pretty, according to, the world standards for sure. So I liked that a lot. I didn't want that to change. And she knew that. So knowing that I was so different looking, she was very worried about how that would affect like who I was on the inside. And I was worried about the same thing too, honestly. But honestly, when I look at this picture, I still see a lot of similarities, believe it or not. Like I feel like the first time I saw my reflection, I expected so much worse. I don't know what I thought. Like my eyes would be here, my mouth would be, I don't even know. Like I just did not expect to see my features still arranged the way that they are. I didn't expect my eyes to still be my eyes. And I don't know what image I had, but I thank God for that image because what I saw was still very familiar. It didn't look like me, like in my memory. But I don't know, something in the eyes were like my eyes. I was looking at Kechi. I was looking at whatever it is that made me who I was, which obviously meant that wasn't physical. So that was my very first lesson in South Africa, which became my life motto, that my scars do not define me. And that became something
Hallelujah.
that meant so
Amen.
much to me.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
I realized in that moment that obviously, if I could still see something similar in this reflection that is so different from how I look now, if I could still see something similar there, then whatever made me Kechi had to go beyond the physical. If it didn't, then I shouldn't feel like me if I don't look like me, So I realized that wasn't the case. I still felt like me. And this meant so many things to me. It freed me because I didn't have to tie my personality to my looks or the way that I am, like the way I like to joke around, and just fool around and just be silly, like all these things that I loved about my personality didn't have to change. And also, I didn't have to change how I like to dress, because I love fashion and all these things. So to me, not having to feel like I need to cover up anything because of anything made me realize that, you can just live your life, really, and the world has really been, I know that, it's a lot of times the media shows us such difficult things to look at, but the experience I've had personally with people has been 99.9% positive, because when I opened up to the world and was just myself and it was just my authentic self, I got that back from people as well. People respond to what you give them. If I went around obviously caring so much about how I looked physically, then that would be the only thing that I would let people see about me. But I wanted them to be able to see me and encounter me beyond how I look. And that can only happen if I give them my authentic self. And so I think I get that back from people too. After a while, I just get everyone just talking to me comfortably. And that's what I want. I don't want you to look at me and feel like, oh, I need to take care with how I talk to this one, because I don't want that. But I feel like we play a role, a lot of 50% how people react to us is what we give back to them. So I wanted to give people a chance to know who I really am beyond my scars. Amen. So I feel like the world hasn't disappointed me so far, honestly, and it makes me eager to meet new people. So Amen. It's been pretty cool.
Amen.